after performance like this, I need this cup. This is the cup of latte, my personal symbol of resilience amid the total darkness last winter. When Russia fired 1,500 rockets and drones at Ukraine, hitting Kyiv and the region around practically every week. 50% of Ukrainians' energy infrastructure was damaged. And on a cold winter morning, in my cold apartment, after a cold breakfast, I took this cup of hot latte, warmed up by generators from the neighborhood coffee shop. And it was my moment. It was my helpline to normalcy. It was my symbol of resilience, which gave me strength to live and work. I have been working on sustainability for 15 years. I wrote many books, national strategies, and angry letters to companies regarding greenwashing, blue washing, any other color washing. But then the war came. And it started 9 years ago, when my hometown was occupied. And last year, Russia threatened my home again, this time in Kyiv. I went to Vienna and I spent 6 months there, and after 6 months, I decided to come back with 2 big objectives: to help our companies to work on sustainability, but also to help displaced Ukrainian women to start or restart their businesses. Last August, I started this program from scratch without any resources or people. Now, there are 12 people work on the program. We have 4 offline hubs in 4 regions, and we have already trained 500 women entrepreneurs. And the performance you have just watched was performed by a company, co-founder of which was graduate of our first online program. And actually, my dream is to reach 1 million Ukrainian women. And notably, 30% of women who didn't have their businesses before registered their business during our program. Isn't this about resilience? I would like to show you official statistics from Ukraine. And while you're reading, I would like to tell you one story. And it happened accidentally. And I came here not from Warsaw or Krakow airport. I came here from Shizano airport, Moldova. And there I met a group of 40 Ukrainian women whose employer paid them a week vacation in Greece. And this employer happened to be a woman who flew from Russian aggression from Irpin, and last May founded her own company. Isn't this about resilience? You know that 50% of global companies are unprepared for external shocks. And what about your company? Did you fill in the poll? Could we look at the result? Wow, it's even better than McKinsey. But it's because it's Nordic Business Forum, I understand. But I would like to challenge you with the questions about your resilience based on the lessons from Ukrainian companies. In Ukraine, we have the train to victory. It's a real train, so you could board on this, where every wagon is dedicated to the heroes from occupied territories. And if to look from the business side, it could be a resilience train which rides to victory. And in today's uncertain world, I think that every business needs a resilient strategy, or, to use a Finnish word, SISU strategy. And Because just remember, floods in Libya, earthquakes in Morocco, in Turkey, emerging tensions between superpowers, which results of which shake the world. We haven't anticipated such kind of results, and we can't predict. So we need a resilient strategy. And the first wagon, your locomotive, your engine, is speed. Because train needs speed, as well as your business. And speed is about how quick and adequate response of your business to external shocks. How quick is your decision making? Could you, for example, relocate your business in 1 week instead of 6 months? This is a real test from Ukrainian Railways, a company which carried out the largest evacuation in history of wars. This is an unexploded bomb near the track, on the way of the evacuation train full of people from Kharkiv. And the dilemma was whether to continue movement at a slow speed or to wait for sappers to arrive, while not knowing when it might be. And the sappers arrived in 20 minutes. So you could test the speed of your decision making, and you could make some improvements. The next wagon is about the big objective. You have already heard about purpose. We called it the big objective. What is the big objective of your business? Please do not answer with earning money. Think bigger. For Ukrainian companies, the big objective is to help Ukraine win. This is the story about Vesna, spring in English, a family-owned herbal cosmetics company from Bucha. And Bucha became the symbol of inhuman cruelty of Russians. The owners were lucky and they managed to flee. But before they distributed all their products to the Bucha population for free. But their production facilities, their office were looted. Their relatives spent 17 days in captivity. 2 months later, the owners decided to come back with the big objective, to help Ukrainian soldiers with the new recipe of a wound healing cream they developed. In a year, they grew fourfold. Now they have a new production facility, new office, new business model, and employ 22 people instead of 7. So, think about big objective, and this is Vesna Revival, and think about the big objective of your business, because your consumers want it, your employees want this, and your competitors want it. Do you know that in Ukraine, many companies, they started implementing projects with their competitors? Because it's very, very important. The third wagon is about values and how far you are going to uphold them. I know that talking about values is a bit of fashion. Everybody knows that they are important, and I'm sure you have developed them already, and they are on prominent places in your office. But I see discrepancy. And sometimes, especially when external shocks like war happened, these events could challenge your values. For example, take Ukraine and the war against Ukraine. And I saw that this is a big discrepancy between values and actions of some companies. Could you look at these questions? If you could answer yes, great, your values work. If not, it's time to change either your values or your actions. And this is the job site WorkUA. Just recently, they developed a sanction list featuring 200 companies that are still in Russia and refused working with them. And this decision is also about giving up a substantial revenue, $500,000 per year, but also it's a commitment to values. So think about your values, think about your actions and whether they are in line with your values. It's better you find it now than your customers or employees will find it. The fourth wagon is about people, your employees and their families. I'm sure your HR strategies are impeccable. But what about mental health issues? Do you know that 1 billion people worldwide suffer from mental health issues? And it costs global economy $1 trillion per year. For Ukraine, it's a big issue now. There isn't any single family in Ukraine that remained unaffected by war. According to the Ministry of Health, 15 million Ukrainians will need mental health care. So that's why our companies do a lot for this, including establishing special psychological departments or conducting workshops for managers to help them to cope up with this stress, enabling them to pass on this knowledge to their teams. And also, our companies consider employees and their families as internal stakeholders. So all programs of assistance, including psychological one, is also available for families. And also, our companies established children's rooms to address safety issues. And globally, such kind of approach is called care economy. In Ukraine, it's reality economy. So such kind of actions foster trust of employees towards employer and also help decrease depression. So please, think about one concrete action and on your return home, try to implement it. Because in this era of anxiety, your employees and their families need you as caring employers. And the fifth wagon is about customers. And you know, perhaps that customers could easily switch companies because of the poor service, but servicing your customers could open up a new horizons in scope, geography, and innovation. This is Nova Post, a private logistics company, a Ukrainian FedEx. And after the full-fledged invasion, they had a lot of challenges. Their turnover decreased to a mere 1%. And for any operating company, such drastic decline means bankruptcy. But 3 months later, they started the journey of revival, full of crazy ideas to follow their customers. And their customers, many Ukrainians, were abroad. 8 million Ukrainians went abroad because of war. But they wanted the same level of service as at home. And I should confess, Ukrainians are very demanding. So, in 1 year, they opened 7 new offices in 7 European countries, adhering to respective legislation. So customers were happy. So, by the way, your customers could literally save you in the turbulent times. Do you remember the cosmetics company from Bucha? When they lost everything, customers were the first to offer them support and money. So, follow your customers in good or bad times, and this is a path to resilience, innovation, and competitiveness. Now you have 5 key components of resilience strategy. And your train could move, but to make it move, you need one important thing. You need personal resilience. Because organizational resilience is based on individual resilience. And you can't make critical decision-making, critical decisions while you do not find your personal resilient tool. It could be a physical object which could give you strength. In my case, it was a latte cup. For many women during the war, and this is a proven fact, it's red lipstick. For a child, when he or she cries, it's a toy. It could be a glass of wine. Why not? And here I would like to tell you another story about Good Wine, a wine distributor from Ukraine. This company lost 15 million euro when their warehouse with 1.6 billion bottles was damaged with Russian rocket. But 2% of bottles left, they sell under the title Bottles That Survive. So, think about your resilience strategy. Remember 5 components of this: speed, big objective, values, care for customers and employees. Find your personal resilient tool. And after the turbulent times, you will be remembered as a survivor who has become even more valuable, like wine that survived.